Hello and welcome to SARL Rugby League. We're going to have a bit of fun today in amongst all the mayhem in the world. And we're all going to come together and try and name who we think would be the first three names into a Super League Hall of Fame. Now, I know it's a bit of an American thing having a Hall of Fame, but we do have a Rugby League Hall of Fame, of course, with the RFL. Inducts, I think it's 3 players every year. So I think we've come up with a concept. If they did introduce a Super League Hall of Fame, who would be the first 3 players who would get into it? Now, I'm sure there's plenty to choose from. I know Jack's certainly gone through quite a lot of names to come down to his final 3. So we're all going to name our top 3, and then at the end of that, we'll come together and see who's got the most votes, and then we'll have a collective top 3. So firstly, I think we'll get one name from everybody, kind of the number 1 on everybody's list. I'll come to you first, Jack. Who have you gone with? Who's a standout name?
Well, like you mentioned, I tried to put together a short list and ended up with about 30, 40 names on it, which I don't think you can really define as a short list. So I've just about managed to sort of whittle it down to 3. I've still got about 7 or 8 names written down that I think should be notable mentions. But first up for me, I've gone Jamie Peacock, who I think is probably one of the most obvious choices. Done so much in the game. Great Britain captain, England captain. I wrote down he's got 9 Super League titles, 4 Challenge Cups, 4 World Cup challenges, 5 League Leaders Shields, and was also Man of Steel in 23 alongside several Dream Team appearances. So as personal and team accolades go, you can't get much bigger than Jamie Peacock. The guy was just a warrior. And you saw that with how he was playing towards the back end of his career at 38, still going as strong and as fit as a lot of the other younger lads in the Leeds team that he finished in. And, to be such an iconic player at both Bradford and Leeds in the way he was. And I know he's told his story about how he almost didn't even end up playing the game, right at the start. And he almost missed his trial for Bradford. So to go on and do what he has done, for me, just makes him one of, if not the ultimate Super League legend.
Well, yeah, I think most of us might have gone with a similar choice. Not really left any of us with much else left to say. But well, I've gone for Jamie Peacock as well. I put him down as number 1. He was the obvious one. I mean, he's the most successful player in Super League history, and I think you've reeled off kind of his trophy haul there. And the thing that really stood out for me was, I think I've written down here that between, I think it was 2001 and 2012, between his time at Leeds and Bradford, he actually won 8 of the 12 grand finals that were available in that time, which is just crazy. And then obviously he went on to win in 2015 as well. So he won 9 grand finals in 15 seasons, which I think is unheard of, along with like around 450 appearances. And I just think you've talked about him being a warrior there. I think Jamie Peacock, I think it was first year at Leeds was 2006, and I mean that was perhaps in all of these seasons, perhaps only his lull season where he perhaps didn't hit the heights we were used to. But even then, his performance levels I don't think ever dropped below a 7, and I think it was just the duration and longevity of him that made him so good, and even his performance in the 2015 grand final. I think he was 36, was he? 36, 37?
I think it was 37, 38, yeah.
Yeah, it was absolutely incredible. I'll come to you, Joe. Is Jamie Peacock on your list? And if not, who have you gone with?
It's on my list, but I mean, if I want to be a bit more interested, I'll name someone a little different.
Is he in your top 3, though? Is he in your top 3, Joe?
He's in my top 3, yes, along with him. Another one of my top 3, though. Now, this might actually surprise a few people, or it might be plain obvious. I've gone for arguably Super League's greatest ever winger, and that is Leslie Vinocola, the volcano. And I can see all your nods. You all agree on that. I hope the fans do as well. But come on, is there any denying him? I mean, after all, how many tries did he score? I mean, it was 2004 where he broke the initial record with 36 in the season. He even went and scored a couple more in the playoffs, although they didn't go on and win it that year. I mean, of course, Ben, the Leeds Rhinos did. You'd have been thrilled about that, no doubt. You too, Jack. But all the same, though, I mean, he was still a danger, wasn't he? He broke the record. Danny Maguire broke it as well that year. But no, I've gone for Leslie Vainikolo because, I mean, he set the precedent of a powerful winger. He was the 7th forward, no denying that as well. So, and even though he's had quite a few imitators come over to this country, but in my honest opinion, no one's still, I mean, 13 years on when he left the Bulls now, no one's come anywhere close to his style of play, and that's why Leslie's in it, because I honestly think he's irreplaceable.
Yeah, and I think we'll come on to our second choice shortly. I'll just come to you, Paul. I'll let you. I think you may have Jamie Peacock in there as well. If you have, I'll let you name another one in your top 3.
Well, yeah. Obviously, Jamie Peacock's my number 1. Just obviously quickly on him. The fact that the 2 really great sides, the Leeds sides and the Bradford sides, and he was the linchpin in both of them teams. I mean, that just speaks volumes for him, doesn't it? The way he led his side. I mean, he wasn't the captain of the Leeds. We all know the captain was, but where everybody looked up to him. Everyone looked to him from other clubs. Some of I remember even later on in his career, I think some of the on-field battles he had with players. I remember one with, I think it was McAlorum at Magic Weekend. I think a couple of years running it. I mean, it's just brilliant to watch. It's what the sport's all about. Watching 2 players literally looking for each other, running at each other. Peacock never ran from anybody. I mean, he's an absolute colossus, and obviously he's number 1. Jack's everything Jack said about him, I've got all that written down. The trophies that he won, he's number 1 on my list. And as Joe, I've gone for Big Leslie as well. Maybe talk about him a bit more. The third name I've got is tough, really, because I mean, I do think the Super League titles that they've won, we have to really look towards St Helens to provide a name on this list. I think we have to respect what they've won. I mean, you go back to that same, I think it was 2006. I think they were even recognised at the BBC Awards, weren't they, as a team? I think it was 2006, the Team of the Year. Yeah, I think we have to respect that. And I mean, you know, as we could name 30, 40 players to go on this list. Obviously, we'll do this again and we'll add to the list. But it was hard. I was kind of thinking between Roby and Cunningham, but then I had another thought, and I said, you know what? Has to be Sean Long for me. So the third name on my list is Sean Long. I mean, this guy is just, I mean, we talk about the top Australians coming over here to play. We've seen Trent Barrett play over here for Wigan. And this guy's as good as not better of any of them. I think sometimes we put our own players down to put the Australians on a bit of a pedestal. This guy, I mean, I remember the test he played for Great Britain in Australia. It was just awesome. The guy had literally got everything. He obviously, you know, he won a grand final with a drop goal. He's Lance Todd Trophy winners, Man of Steel. He's won World Club challenges. He's literally done everything. I mean, so it had to be Sean Long for me. So the third name on my list was Sean Long.
Well, I'll tell you something, Paul. I'll add to that. He said he's done everything on the field. If you've read his book, you'll know he's done everything off the field as well.
Yeah, yeah. That's a very he's got a very checkered very checkered past. That's for certain. I'm probably one of the most colourful characters in the game. I mean, definitely. But yeah, brilliant.
So your top 3, Paul, is Peacock, Vainikolo, and
Sean Long.
Sean Long, yeah, sorry. Man went back then.
You forgot him already.
I want to try and run through a name each, but you've all kind of jumped the gun. Paul's already got his top 3 in. We'll come back to you, Jack. So we might as well go. Who have you got second and third?
Second and third, I'm quite surprised, particularly with one of these players that Paul hasn't gone with him, and that's Andy Farrell. You know, I've gone sort of down this road of players who I think have just been true leaders. I won't lie, I've taken a lot of the accolades that they've received into consideration. And again, I just couldn't look past Andy Farrell. I thought he was way too good for to not be included. Ex-Great Britain captain, 6 league titles, 4 Challenge Cups, a World Cup Challenge, 2 Man of Steel awards, which really stood out to me, and 1 Golden Boot. You know, he was crowned the best player in the world at one point. So for me, I couldn't look past him. I was unfortunate in that when I did get to a point, when I did watch him, I was still quite young, so I don't think at the time I really understood the magnitude of player he was. And that's similar to the third player who's in my list as well. I'll come on to in a minute. But for me, Farrell was just the ultimate hard man in that Wigan side. I mean, his infamous fight with Paul Sculthorpe is thing of legend. And that is how he would play and then lead that Wigan side. You know, he would lead from the front and be the first into every single scuffle. He'd take all the hard yards while still, you know, being capable of so many lovely little touches and intricate pieces of play. You know, he was just a brilliant all-round player. And that brings me on to, I mentioned him just a second ago, Paul Sculthorpe is my third choice. Again, so many accolades, 3 Super League titles, 4 Challenge Cups, 2 World Cup challenges, 2 Man of Steels as well. And he was the first player to ever win consecutive Man of Steel awards. He was obviously part of that squad that you mentioned, Paul, that were an unbelievable side. And I think that was sort of, I think, his the back end of his career. You know, one of his last few years, I think, was that 2006 season. But again, similar to Farrell, all I really know, or most of what I know about Paul Sculthorpe, is either through watching highlights or through word of mouth. And the amount of people that speak so highly of Sculthorpe, not just, you know, what he did on the field, but also what the stuff he did off the field, you know, for not only the team but the community as well. I think one of the true what's the word? You know, one of the real memories that I have of him was in the World Cup Challenge. Again, I can't remember what year it was, but he'd been out injured for ages, I seem to remember, and came off the bench against Brisbane. And outstanding. Yeah, he was outstanding, you know, and I think that was testament to the man that Saints, even though he hadn't really been involved too much the previous season, you know, they put him on that bench because they knew what impact he could have and what effect he could have on the squad, even just being, you know, a coach almost on the field. So, yeah, for me, my 3, Jamie Peacock, obviously, Andy Farrell and Paul Sculthorpe.
Interesting. I'll come on to mine now before we go on to Joe's final choice. Now, I've also gone for Leslie Vanicola. I think Joe reeled off quite a lot of his stats there, but I think the thing that stood out for me, he actually only spent 7 seasons in Super League, and now when I think back to certainly the early days of Super League, for me, it feels like he was there every season. But when I was looking back at his stats, the one that stood out for me were in 2003, 2004, and 2005 seasons. He scored 88 Super League tries in 72 games, which is just unheard of, I think. I think Greg Eden went on a similar run back in that we're nowhere near over that amount of time. So he was just devastating, a prolific try scorer. And my third choice is Andy Farrell. I've gone with the same as you, Jack. Again, yeah, I think he was just a Golden Boot winner. And to get that award, especially when taking into consideration the names he was competing with in those years, I think it just shows you how much he stood out. And again, another thing that really stood out for me from Andy Farrell is the fact that he actually played in 9 Super League seasons and he was in the Super League Dream Team in 7 of them, which, again, I think there's only probably Jamie Peacock who could get anywhere near matching that. So yeah, my 3 are Jamie Peacock, Andy Farrell and Leslie Vanicola. Now, I think we're going to be in a little bit of a close tussle for the third and final spot overall, so it's all going to come down to you. Joe, who's your third and final choice?
Yeah. Well, I'll just say quickly, Peacock was my second choice. I might prove infamous with some people, but I'll just sort of change it up a bit. My third choice, though, I will actually, it's the same as a couple of years. It's actually Andy Farrell, because I'll mention another stat of his. I remember famously in 2004, in a game against Hull FC, where it was a 20-all draw, Andy Farrell, he scored one of Wigan's tries that night, which helped him surpass a 3,000-point barrier for Wigan. So, I mean, I think that's an incredible stat alone, of the 3,000 points, I mean, in his time at Wigan. So, therefore, that's why I've gone for Farrell there, amongst all his other accolades as well. It's just, I thought I'd point that out because it really does stand out, that one for me. But he had everything, leadership. It's such a shame. Well, leadership, skill. I mean, certainly knew his way to the line, and goal kicking. I just mentioned the bloody points. Oh, pardon me there. But all the same, it's the only regret with Farrell, of course, his international success. It's just a shame Great Britain, you know, they had their success here and there, a 2002 series win, but it's a shame that he couldn't captain them to an Ashes series win against Australia, even in 2003 when they went so agonisingly close. But despite that, Farrell, that's not taking away his achievements. Fantastic player, and he's my third one.
Interesting. So there you go. I think we're all agreed there that Andy Farrell will take the final spot in our top three. Just honourable mentions, obviously, for Paul Scunthorpe and Sean Long, who were chosen by Jack and Paul. But I think we're all in agreement. So we've got Jamie Peacock, Andy Farrell, and Leslie Vanicola as our top three players who would be named in our Super League Hall of Fame, the first three inductees. Now, I think we'll probably maybe come back in a few days' time, and we might actually do a top 10. We'll obviously keep these three in, and then we'll run through the rest of a possible top 10. Might be a bit harder to put together, but I know certainly Jack's got the names in the bag. So we'll probably come back to this. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Please let us know in the comments who would be the first three names into a Super League Hall of Fame for you, the first three inductees. And do you think there should be a Super League Hall of Fame? There's obviously already an RFL Hall of Fame, so it'd be interesting to see how that one would go. I think we're maybe a few years off that yet, but yeah, they would be the first three names for us. So yeah, let us know in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and we'll see you next time.